Welcome to The Conversation, where we tackle the pressing issues that shape our society. I am your host, Kwame Thomas. We'll have with us today Mr. Garnett Reid, President of the Small Business Association of Jamaica. He will provide valuable insights into how the legacy of the FINSAC crisis continues to affect small businesses today. Garnett's expertise will help us to understand the economic challenges and opportunities that lie ahead for entrepreneurs in Jamaica. Then a little later, we'll be hearing from Ms. Marlene Alain, human rights lawyer, where she'll speak about the challenges faced by Haitian asylum seekers. Stay with us. Welcome to The Conversation. How are you?
Thank you very much.
So, FINSAC, it has been going on for decades now. So we want, for the benefit of those
30 years.
Exactly, for the benefit of those who might not have known much about it, could you give us a little bit of context in as short as possible a time about FINSAC, what it means and what the impact has been for us?
Well, the FINSAC meltdown affected some 40,000 Jamaicans, business people, micro, small, and medium-sized enterprise. Out of those 44,000, 30,000 small business operator was destroyed in this whole affair. People have lost their belongings. They lost their businesses, they lost their cars, they lost their homes. Some people migrated. Some people commit suicide. Some people die of a broken heart. The FINSAC meltdown, and I'm going to blame by the People's National Party government.
But is there a need to blame someone, though? Because
yes.
Would you blame that on an administration or a party?
No, bad government policy that should establish. So
it's an issue of government policy then, not necessarily party.
Well, the government of the day was the People's National Party.
Yeah.
And Omar Davis was warned by Eddie Siago. Something is going to happen in the financial sector. He did not listen. He did not listen to Mr. Siago at the time.
What do you think might have caused this, though, this particular meltdown?
Well, two things. And two things caused the meltdown. Interest rate was at 100%. No businesses can operate with an interest rate at 100%. That is number one. The devaluation of the Jamaican dollar, that also play a role. And bad government policy by the People's National Party government at the time. Also, the banks and financial institutions, they were using depositors' money, building high-rising buildings. Some went into agriculture, some went into apartments, some of them did not work. And so that contribute also to the financial meltdown.
But could we then say that it was just a matter of poor management then on the part of public and private sector? So the government didn't have the right policies to manage what was happening, and those who are left in charge, the private sector, the banks primarily, they weren't able to manage properly, or they didn't use it properly. Would you say that's it?
That could also be a factor. That also could be a factor.
So we fast forward now, some 30 years, give or take, and we see that the government they spoke about a plan, and now they have in fact published the commission archives. You have stated in earlier statements that it's a little too late, but my question to you is, how crucial is this transparency, this level of transparency for rebuilding trust in the government and the business community, especially from where you sit as president of the Small Business Association of Jamaica?
As I mentioned in other media, that the report is too little, too late, but it's better late than never. And the report have been reducted. The report of the FINSAC report have been reducted. And why do I say that?
The entire thing, or just segments of it?
Segment of it. Segment of it have been
redacted.
Redacted and missing from the report. For example, I know of people who borrowed $5 million and end up owing $40 million. Lost their homes.
And their livelihood.
And their livelihood. Families was also destroyed. And one business person said to me, they took away his house. I think the house have a valuation of $100 million. He went with $60 million to give the FINSAC people. They refused it. But that said house was sold to a politician for $25 million. And they was offering $60 million.
No, he was offering, the business owner was offering $60 million.
To FINSAC. FINSAC reject that $60 million and accept the politician $25 million.
So we can admit then
that businessman
it was poorly handled.
Of a broken heart. And this is why I said to you that some of the information in the report have
been redacted.
Redacted, yes.
So the expectation is that something like that would have been in the report, or should have been in the report?
Should have been in the report. We need the truth, the old truth, and nothing but the truth.
So the question though, is how do you think, yes, it's a little too late as far as you're concerned, but I am sure there must be some avenue for persons to look at this now, and it will help, because transparency is crucial and we're looking to build trust. The government is looking to rebuild trust, so they want to ensure that business owners will understand that, listen, here's the truth. No, it's for persons like you to say this point is missing, that point is missing, and then agitate for it to be added. So the question really is, is how can is this a step in the right direction? And
therefore, the Small Business Association of Jamaica, we have a membership of over 7,000 members island-wide, the oldest business organization in the Western Hemisphere. We're calling upon the government to give us a full report, a full report. We need the truth, the old truth, but nothing but the truth. In addition to that, there is a silence of the private sector organization of Jamaica. There's a silence of the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce. There's a silence of the Manufacturing Exporters Association. They have members. They have members who have suffered through the FINSAC meltdown. And there's a silence.
Hold on now. This brings a question that I'd want you to answer when we come back from the break, because you have stated that members of the private sector organization, you have listed a number of bodies that are silent on this issue.
Yes.
So the question that I want you to think about as we go into the break is, what kind of collaborations is the Small Business Association of Jamaica doing to ensure that there are more of the stakeholders involved in this particular part of the discussion? But hold your thought. We'll be right back. We're speaking with Mr. Garnett Reid. Sorry, I almost called him Mr. Garnett Silk. He's the president of the Small Business Association of Jamaica. You're watching The Conversation. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Conversation. So, Mr. Reid, just before the break, we started looking. The question that I have to ask, the question that I've asked, what are some of the steps that you're taking to ensure that you can get the collaboration, get the buy-in of these other organizations? You spoke about the Jamaica Manufacturers Association, and you have spoken also of the private sector organization, a number of others. What steps have you taken, your organization have taken, to ensure that they're all at the table so that you can actually hold the government to account? Because there's strength in numbers.
Right. We're now in the process of looking on going to, well, finishing to complete the report, the FINSAC report. Then we are going to collaborate with the Jamaica Manufacturers Association, the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce and other bodies to look on a plan B. We are going to make recommendations to the government that something like this should and will never happen again to the Jamaica business people. As I mentioned, there are 30,000 small business operators was affected. People have died of a broken heart. People commit suicide.
But do you think,
and this should have never happened.
But do you think, though, that this might have led to a loss of interest in terms of persons believing in the strength of the Small Business Association? Because you stated that over 30,000 persons lost their livelihood.
Small business operators.
Yes, but now, based on the discussion that you just had a while ago, is that your SB, the Small Business Association of Jamaica is roughly 7,000 strong. You know, why not more? Why not more individuals being inside of it? No. Could it be that persons have seen the FINSAC meltdown and possibly the inability then of the Small Business Association so they don't want to be a part of this right now? Do you think that might have been one of the issues?
No. All business people, and I believe all business people have an interest in the FINSAC meltdown.
Yeah, we
there is no
that.
question about that. They need to know what happened, how it happened, and to ensure that something like this never happens again.
So the question is, why is it that there are only 7,000 persons in your organization?
No, but that's membership. That's membership,
yeah,
you know.
Man.
That's membership.
So you're saying you're doing something for members and non-members.
And that's correct. And this is where we're going to collaborate with the other bodies, the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, which we sit on that board. We sit on that board as well. The Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, and other business and other business organizations in Jamaica.
What are some of the key lessons, though? What are some of the key lessons that we can pull from FINSAC to ensure that something like this never happens again? Well,
again, we need a stable economy, a stable financial
You're talking about policy?
Right. Good government policy. We have to have we have to have good government policy. There's no question about that. Then we have to have an interest rate that people can afford to pay. People can borrow, and because
wouldn't you say the current interest rate now is stable,
good.
And the fact that the dollar is not not as unstable as it was.
It was, but it still go ups and down. It fluctuates. There's no question about that. And then also the crime also play a very important role in businesses. Government need to control the crime that affected the Jamaican people.
Yeah, that part is for another discussion. I'm talking primarily about FINSAC and the lessons that we have learned and what you think the government can do to better. Do you think that there's a need for some form of support for those who have been affected and they're still here, they're still alive? Good question.
I am looking in the camera and hoping that the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Honorable Andrew Holness, and the government of Jamaica to set up a victim fund that affected the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprise, to give back something to these business people who have been affected. You can call it anything you want to call it. You can call it the victim fund, you can call it FINSAC, whatever. These people have families in Jamaica. These people have friends and families and friends who vote. So a recommendation that we are making is for the Prime Minister and the government of Jamaica to set up a victim fund to help these small and medium enterprises who have been affected by the FINSAC meltdown.
So you want the government to set up a fund now. So the next question, though, is when you look at our current economic policies, Do you think that, in light of a historical context, do you think that there has been enough corrections, enough policy formation